All right, here's a bizarre story, a really strange story. And the more you think about it, the more I think about it, the stranger that it is. It's short, but I'll tell you, maybe I'll have to add another story. We'll see. There was an amazingly holy genius Jew by the name of Rabbi Yosef Karo. Rabbi Yosef Karo, he lived in Sfat, in the upper part of Israel, about something like 400 years ago, 450 years ago. He lived at the same time as the Arizal, the Rabbi Yitzchak Karo. In fact, his daughter married the Arizal's son, or his son married the Arizal's daughter. So there. Yosef Karo Asfardi. And he wrote a book which was called the Shulchan Aruch. First of all, he wrote a book which is called the Beit Yosef. And then he wrote the Shulchan Aruch. What was the Beit Yosef? The Talmud is very complicated. And the purpose of the Talmud is so that we should know what to do. So the Talmud presents all of these arguments between the great rabbis, and all the opinions of the rabbis are all valid. In fact, they're all godly. But nevertheless, even though they're all godly and they're all valid, we can't go according to every opinion that's in the Talmud. There's decisions that are made. The law is like Beit Hillel. The law is like Abaya. The law is like so it's the ordinary layman has no access to exactly what you're supposed to do. So that's why there's great rabbis. There were great rabbis through all the generations, great rabbis, and they knew the whole Talmud, and they would answer questions. They would talk with one another. But eventually, this also fell into disuse. The number of rabbis, it dwindled, and there was also a lot of troubles for the Jewish people. There were a lot of enemies, and the Jewish people were evicted from this place and evicted to that place. So especially this stood up the Maimonides. And Maimonides, he made a book of law. But not all of his opinions are accepted, right? Like sometimes he had to make decisions of what the law was according to the Talmud. And there's some people that didn't agree with how he made his decisions. So there were also laws. Okay. Came along about 500 years after the Rambam, Maimonides, a man called Rabbi Yosef Karo. No, first of all, there came along a man called the Rabbi Asher, and he wrote a book called The Tur. And there were other books that were written also, The Tur. And The Tur, he divided all of the laws of Judaism, practical laws, into 4 different categories. And he wrote a book called The Tur. That's what's called the Arba Turim. And Yosef Karo wrote a commentary. He wrote an amazing commentary because he knew all of the Talmud. So he wrote a commentary explaining where the source of every law is, and sometimes he disagreed. And finally, the Beit Yosef, he condensed all of what he wrote in this commentary on the Tur. He condensed it into a book which is called the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch is the set table. In other words, anyone can look into this book and find practical laws, what to do now. Now, practical, not like the Maimonides that he talked about laws that are not practical, laws of the Holy Temple and laws of Mashiach. Practical laws about right now. And everyone goes according to this Shulchan Aruch. Everyone. There are some people that disagree in certain details, and there's different opinions, different this. But this is the basis of all Jewish law, is what's called the Shulchan Aruch. And anyone who disagrees has to come up with really hardcore, founded, and what do you call it? Supported arguments to disagree. And there are people that disagree. There was the Ramah, the Moshe Islas. Okay, and then all these disagreements are all printed. Good. Okay, story. Here's the story. This Beit Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo, as an angel used to speak to him. An angel. And an angel used to give him insights into his learning and also into life. And he would ask this angel questions. Sometimes the answers were a little bit Kabbalistic, a little bit, nothing like his in-law, the Arizal, that everything he wrote was according to Kabbalah, the deepest ideas of Kabbalah. It was very, simple Kabbalistic ideas that he had, but most of it was talking about advice about different laws that he made. And this. One day, this angel that spoke to him said to him, you have found favor in the eyes of God, and you are going to go to the land of Israel, and you are going to die al Kiddush Hashem. They're going to burn you on the stake, whatever. You're going to go into the land of Israel, and they're going to try to force you to leave Judaism, and you're going to be killed. Who's going to kill? There are enough people to kill them over there. The Muslims kill people, and the Christians kill people. In any case, you're going to go up, and it's going to be a Kiddush Hashem. It's sanctifying God's name. And he was tremendously happy. He was tremendously happy. He was not happy because it meant he was going to go to heaven. It was happy because it meant that he was doing something in the world that is the purpose of creation. Right? Everybody dies, and he's going to make use of his death in the best possible way. Listen to this. So he was happy that he got this. After a while, it's written down there in this book. It's called Magid Meshurim. The angel spoke to him. The book is called Magid Meshurim. You can buy the book, Magid Meshurim. So afterwards, the angel comes to him a week later, a month later, whatever it is, a year later, and says, "Bad news. Bad news. You let up on your learning. Whatever you did, he did something that was, I don't remember what it was. You did something that you lost the first prize. You lost first place. You lost first place. You're not going to go to the land of Israel and die al Kiddush Hashem. You got the consolation prize. You're second place. The silver medal. You didn't get the gold medal. You get the second place. What's second place? You're going to write the Shulchan Aruch. Now, writing the Shulchan Aruch, I mean, that's the dream of every religious Jew, that he would write a book that would be remembered for all time. And not only that, it would be remembered, but it would help everyone. It would be a beneficial book. It would be accepted. Everything that's written is correct. All right? People write books, and sometimes they make mistakes in the books. They just want to get their name out there. They think that so they write a book, maybe they make a mistake. But they write a book, nobody reads it. Here he wrote a book. Everyone read this book. Everyone lives according, all the religious Jews, they live according to the Shulchan Aruch. Everyone, that's the basis of all Judaism. Maybe there's no one more popular in Judaism, well known, than Rabbi Yosef Karo, at least by religious Jews. Rabbi Yosef Karo, who doesn't know Rabbi Yosef Karo, right? And nevertheless, that accomplished in the world, and also for him, not as much as his dying al Kiddush Hashem. Does this make sense? To me, it doesn't make any sense at all. But to God, it makes sense. And God, he's right. So somehow or other, our value system is almost right. But what we're putting our emphasis on and what we get excited about is not so much about what God gets excited about as what we think is valuable. So God forbid, I'm not suggesting that you should, God forbid a person's, life, death is a bad thing, no matter how you look at it. And if Adam wouldn't have eaten from the tree, there wouldn't be any death, but there is. And somehow or other it comes to be a very good thing, because now we have to defy it and not be afraid of the death should not stop us from doing what we're supposed to do. Now we're supposed to long for death and want to go up to the life begins after you die. That's very sick. Death is not a good thing. But on the other hand, like Abraham, he was threatened with death. That's Judaism in general. The Holocaust that threatens you, leave your Judaism or we'll kill you. And the Judaism says, okay, kill me. I'm not going to leave my Judaism. So somehow that was better. Here we have an amazing thing that says that the death of Rabbi the Yosef Karo somehow or other is better than him writing the Shulchan Aruch, which benefited all the Jews. I mean, all the Jews know what to do. They know how to do the commandments there. The Rebbe once brought this down for a woman who had lost her son in the war or whatever, and showing that sometimes even a terrible thing called death, which there's no pain worse than that, but nevertheless it can be, according to God's standards, an amazingly beneficial thing. That's his plan. And I think we also have to remember another thing is that, death is bad, but why is death so bad? Because it's the cessation of life. Where does life come from? Death only happens one time. Life is happening every second. God is giving us life every instant. So as bad as we should feel about death, and we should feel bad, but that's how good we should feel about life. And we don't. We take it for granted. So don't take life for granted, and, and don't think that what happens in the world is necessarily as tragic as you think. It's tragic. And that's what the Rebbe just finished saying. We finished learning that the 3 weeks are tragedy, but if we realize that it's a preparation for the future, so it takes away the pain of the tragedy, it puts our mind on something good and wholesome. And that's what the Beit Yosef taught us. Have a good day with Mashiach now, tomorrow, 8:15.